This entry is going to be about poetry. Now, what do I think about poetry? Well, that's a loaded question that goes back to my childhood, quite frankly. When I was raised, I never appreciated the art form of poetry. I love to write, and I do love to read, but poetry never really engaged me mentally. It never dialed my brain, it never captured a feeling. But that changed until recently. I've seen far too many quotes that have replicated my experience as a human quite well. You know, I can't name any specific ones off the top of my head, but I did just see this one by Edgar Allan Poe, so I'll tell it to you now. I was never insane, but on occasion, when I felt my heart was truly touched. Now, that quote might seem redundant to those who live a life of stuckness, of, the corporate ladder, the dial, the cycle, vicious cycle of life. But if you've ever seen somebody's heart legitimately touched, I think you'll know what I'm saying right now. Because there is something so pure, so real about seeing yourself or even somebody else who are passionate about what they care about. Passionate more than money. And that's what it goes down to. Money runs the world, but what runs what we do is this: the heart, the soul. When you feel something truly great, when you do something truly great, you don't want to be paid for it. You don't. That is the last thing on your mind. Am I going to get money from this? That's the last thing that should be going through your head. Because if you can make your passion a career, that's good. But then you can get lost in that passion. You can get lost in the fact that you're now doing this for money outside of wow, it made you feel before. We lose that. I've had that before in my life. True passion for something, you know. When I was growing up, it was always art and drawing. Nowadays, it's more socially applied, but I still have passion for a lot of things. Poetry, I believe, is going to end up being one of those things as well. Because poetry as an art form teaches us so many things that we don't know. One quote, a few sentences, a haiku, an entire novel. This is all poetry. And the underlying meaning of poetry is always a message. There's always a message in poetry. It's never not to convey something. And that's with anything anybody produces. There's always a message behind it. But poetry even more so, because you're encapsulating a feeling in a few sentences. Putting pen to paper and making somebody feel something is incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. Because when you hear me talk, you hear my voice, you hear my soul, you hear not just the words I'm speaking. No, because language is something that we as man created. Feeling, we've had that since the dawn of the human genome. Okay now? And being able to capture a feeling on a piece of paper is insane to me. Right? You're able to make me feel sad, happy, lifted, elevated, hopeful for the future, inspired for what I can become. But it can also make me feel sad, down in the dumps, pessimistic about what our lives are going to look like in 10 years with something as simple as a few lines. That's why poetry is such a unique art form. And it goes back way, way before we've even had written language. Because poetry isn't just writing on a page. It's not that. Poetry is a message. Everything you get out is a kind of poetry. Everything you say is a kind of poetry because that's your lived experience. That is what you're living. That's not what anybody else is. That's yourself. That's nobody else. So you're telling them how you feel every time you talk to somebody. Even if that's unconscious, subconscious, even when you just say, hey, I'm doing good. When somebody asks, how's your days been? You're speaking poetry because, to me, I notice, hey, you've been good. Hey, you've been good. You said that kind of monotone. Your disposition was a little bit off there. So I see that. I perceive that message in a totally different way than somebody say, I ask the same question. They respond with the same answer. But they say, yeah, I'm good. That little twang in your voice, that little, oh, something right there. Now I know you are good. At least right now you are. But you're good, I'm good. I'm feeling happy because you're happy. But, hey, I'm good. Hey, I'm good. I don't think you are, my friend. And let's get down to the bottom of this. But I'm rambling on. This is the first part in a long series of videos I'm going to start posting. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'll figure it out sometime. I'm Julian. Nice to meet you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out to me. I get back to everybody who reaches out to me because I love talking to people. Thank you.